going and somebody, I mean, everybody is touching you. People are elbowing left and right. Everybody is touching somebody. And you come out and say somebody touch you, Jesus, and you boom. How do you say that somebody has touched you? But Jesus knew what he was talking about. He said, Peter, this is not an ordinary touch. This is a touch that has faith added. It's not just anybody just passing by me. No, this one, the person intentionally, sometimes you have to be intentional. This woman was very intentional. He said, you know what? This is my time. This is the time for me to receive my miracle. I don't know who I'm speaking to tonight. Maybe tonight is your miracle. You have suffered, you have toiled for so long. Tonight is your miracle to tap into the realms of the Spirit and say, Jesus, I have heard your word, I have heard your name. Tonight, meet me at the point of my need. And the woman did so, and her miracle came to pass. So sometimes you have to scream, you have to yell, but sometimes you have to go slowly. All right, let's stay on course. Now, verse 14. These guys approach Jesus. Despite their situation, they said, if only we can come into his portal, his chamber, and ask him for help. He will, of course, they have heard testimony about Jesus. They knew what he could do, and they knew what he couldn't do, because they knew there was no way he would turn them away, but they knew he could help them from their situation. So they approached the master. Despite the crowd going to say, you stink, you haven't taken shower for years, and even with the leprosy, even if you bath all the deodorant, the leprosy will still smell on you. So this guy said, you know what? Hey, enough is enough. This is our time of destiny. So they approached Jesus and asked for help, and that is what they got. All right. So Jesus in this verse did something weird, untraditional. And like I said earlier on, normally Jesus would just hold your arm and say, according to your faith, be it done to you. Or he would just spit on the dust on the mat and do some skirmishes, put it on your eye, and you can just go and wash in the pool of Siloam. But this one, he said what? Go and show yourself to the priest. I'm not even going to touch you. My spoken word is enough. Go and show yourself to the priest. Why did Jesus do that? Why did he tell them to just go and show themselves to the priest? What is the reason for going to show themselves to the priest? Why? Because of certification, because of validation. In those days, if you were a leper and for some miraculous ways you were healed, the priest has to certify you and let people know, because they were the most integral people in those days. When you speak about integrity in those days, the number one were the priests, the prophet, and the pastors. Can we say the same about our pastors these days? There have been all kinds of manner of anything that is right, there's fake. We have people who are calling themselves they are prophets and priests, and they are scamming people. So we don't know. We can't ask them to validate you. That does not also negate the fact that there are true prophets of God and men of God in the system, because every good thing also has a counterfeit. So Jesus said, go and show yourself to the priest. Let the priest validate you. Let him certify that you are whole. Me telling you, I know you are clean. But that is a principle I want to use today. I just want you to take your leprosy to the priest and let him look at it and say, oh, we know you. You 10 guys were all lepers some time ago. How did it happen? And he or she can certify you that you are whole. Hypothetical example, if you have cancer of any part of your body, and somebody, a pastor, prays for you, and you believe the cancer is gone, how do you testify that the cancer is gone? It's gone because you did a test earlier on, and your doctor diagnosed and said, okay, you had this situation. The only way they can prove that it's gone is for you to go back to see the doctor. Let them do whatever medical test, laboratory test they have to do, and prove that. Let's say if your CA cancer, whatever was so and so amount, when you go back, they do that. You are not going in doubt. You know you are here, but you are just going for validation of your doctor. They draw your labs. They have to look at you physically. Sometimes they look at you and say, you know what? You had this tumor here. What happened? Tell them it's a miracle. So Jesus said, go and show yourself to the priest. He did not do the traditional miracle where he just touches you, blows some air upon your face, and you are healed. This one, he said, you have been leprous for so many years. You have become a stigma in the society. So I want your stigmatism to be taken away. Go and let the highest authority certify or validate you that you are whole and you are clean. That is the way Jesus decided to, heal these people. So their miracle was proved to be genuine. What a miracle. That Jesus can just speak to you and say, oh, behold, be healed. And at one point, Peter had toiled all night. He didn't get any fish. The guy was a fisherman. Peter had a PhD in fisheries, but he couldn't get fish some time of the day. And after Jesus had borrowed his boat, he said, man, now cast your net into this direction. Peter looked at the man Jesus and said, no, master, you know me, I'm a fisherman. You were a carpenter, you were born a carpenter, and now you've converted to be a pastor, a minister, and evangelist. I've been a fisherman all my days, and we have toiled all night, all morning. Nothing has come out. I know the waters. I know it's H2O plus chlorine, sodium chloride. I know the combination of seawater or whatever, fresh water. Nothing. We have caught nada. But you know what? There is something about you, Jesus. Because you said it, and because of the power behind your name and your word, I'm going to let off all my guards. I'm just going to obey and throw my net where you are saying. So Jesus does miracles so many ways. He doesn't use a one-size-fits-all miracle for everybody. When you go to him, he might just look at you and say, you know what, your sins are forgiven. Just pack your stuff. What? My sins are forgiven, and that's my miracle? Yes, that's the way Jesus decided to. He has his own standard operating procedure. He decides to do miracles however he wants to do it. So he said, go and show yourself to the priest. Let him validate you. And whilst they were going, as soon as he said it, they made 1 step, 2 steps, they were healed gradually. Before they got to the priest, they were healed. So they needed a validation. All right, let's go to the 15. What the 15 says? 15 says, and one of them, so the 10 people that were cured or healed jumped and jumped and jumped. But one said, hey, wait a minute. There is something called gratitude. There is something called thank you. There is something called appreciation. That is what this week is for. Even as the whole nation of America now, billion other countries are buying into. I know Ghana too is doing Thanksgiving. A nation comes and say, Lord, we want to express our gratitude to you for all that you've given us, for the land you've given us. We want to celebrate, but unfortunately in the celebration, it is a turkey that suffers for the celebration. Why don't we just sit down and praise God and worship and enjoy? But you know, wherever there's excitement, there is food. And they decided to use turkey. So Thursday, turkeys are going to suffer. Normally, we do chicken. We spare the turkeys. But then, when you are eating your turkey, remember, it is not a turkey day. It is a day of thanksgiving to be able to express our thanks to God for all that he has done. In fact, every day is a day of thanksgiving. But as a day like the 24th of November or this Thursday where the whole nation comes together, it's a holiday. We all celebrate to tell God how grateful we are. You have to do it with a meaning. And so of the 10 that will receive their miracle, their breakthrough, one said, I have to go back and tell the Messiah that this is what he said and it's come to pass. Sometimes when people do something for you, they don't expect you to say thank you or, but we are human. But you saying it is worth to tell him that, okay, if you've given this to me, I can receive more. So one person came in verse 15. He fell down at the feet of Jesus, touched him, worshiped him, glorified, because he was actually worshiping God. And God came in the form of flesh as Jesus. Jesus, the incarnate. He came to worship God, to worship Jesus. Master, you only spoke that. You just told me to go and show myself to the priest. I didn't question you. I knew it was possible. And now this is a miracle. So he came and fell down at his feet in verse 16 and worshiped him. And verse 16 says he fell. Okay, so 6, let me read. And fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And Luke did not forget to add this. He said he gave time, but then he added this, and he was a Samaritan. That is what I read in John chapter 4, verse 9. Let me go back and let's hammer it into ourselves. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, ask drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? Double jeopardy, woman and Samaria. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. The Jews, Jesus being one, had no dealings with the Samaritans. So Jesus wasn't even supposed to mingle with this lady. He wasn't even supposed to find himself at the well, mingling with the lady. But what did Jesus come to do? He came what? To break captivity and to give freedom to captives. He said, I have come to take away all the reproach, all the stigma, everything that has carried, whatever people name, labels that what people have given you. People have called you stupid, crazy, whatever it is. Jesus came to remove all those stigma. You were a Samaritan, but I am coming to redeem you. You were a woman. Your gender doesn't matter. Now, these days, we have a vice president woman. Who knows, in the next election, we might have a woman president. We don't see whether it's a woman or man. We all got brains. We have to put aside that this is a woman, this is a man, this is white, this is black, this is a Caucasian, this is African. It doesn't matter. We all bleed red. So Jesus came to open the veil. He split the veil and said, anybody at all can enter into the chambers of God. Just come. You don't even need a mediator. Jesus is the only mediator. Come in and talk to God the way you want. This woman was a Samaritan, but Jesus said, I am going to Jerusalem. Wherever I'm going, I will stop on my way and deliver you before I go. Can you imagine if Jesus did not stop and he went through? Do you remember the story about the Good Samaritan? Why do we call it the Good Samaritan? We put the adjective good there. Because he's a Samaritan, but because he was good, we call him the Good Samaritan. Here was a man who somebody was traveling, he was beaten by thieves, armed robbers, and the pastor, the priest, the evangelist, all came by and said, look at their watch. He said, you know what? I am late for a meeting. I can't stop and treat you. I will come back. I cannot minister to you. And they left. And this Samaritan came, bundled the guy, put him on his horse, took him to an inn. These will call it a clinic or emergency ward, and say, you know, this man has an emergency. He's been beaten left and right. He's bleeding. Take care of me. Although I'm in a hurry, this is the money to pay for his expenses. I will be back. If there's more, I will pay. So Samaritans in those days were not respected. But Jesus gave parables and proved to us that we do not have to limit ourselves to what we know. We can be good to anybody. Do not be harsh unto anybody unless they have proven themselves otherwise. So you can't say, oh, all black men are stupid or lazy or crazy or fools. No. Let a few behave that way and then you can make a conclusion. And I'm not going to also say all men, all white men are wicked, racist, or slave owner, whatever. No, all those things are gone. We are now seeing everybody in the light of God, Christ. And so Bible says in verse 16 that this man fell down to worship Jesus, and he was a Samaritan. Jesus had every reason to push the guy off and say, you know what? I'm a Jew, you're a Samaritan. Why are you coming close to me? But he did not. He proved to the man that despite your origin, despite your ethnicity, God is able to make all grace abound. All right. I don't see any question here. Let me just take a quick break.
Kosuanati era one radio empenyini say yensoma na motenten yesoma banyasafo era one radio yedinsem anumuaye ebre.
Hello beautiful people of Ghana, this is WHOLENESS Specialist Hospital. We are so excited to announce to our people Ghana that we are finally opened and we are accepting patients. At WHOLENESS Specialist Hospital, our extraordinary physicians and nurses are here to provide a high-quality medical service to our extraordinary patients. Our services include primary care services, maternal, neonatal, and pediatric services. We also have an in-house pharmacy. We have X-ray and laboratory services available to you. Come to us for all your healthcare needs, and you will be happy you did, because we believe the health is wealth. Thank you, and stay blessed.
All right, we are back on Facebook and YouTube. We're broadcasting live and also Morning Ghana Radio. Tonight, I'm talking about an attitude of gratitude that is a recipe for wholeness. You may be able to receive your miracle, but from what I'm sharing tonight, one of the 10 lepers came back, and we realized very soon that although he was healed, he became whole after he came back to give thanks. So when you look at verse 17, Jesus looked at the man who came back. And of course, for some reason, you will say that, oh, Jesus should have been in a hurry and proceeded to wherever he was going. But Bible says that the guy came back. I don't know how long Jesus stayed in that town, but this guy was able to go show himself to the priest and realize that, no, I have to come back and thank this man that I don't even know, to tell him, thank you for healing me and for taking my stigma away from me. So Jesus asked, were there not 10 who needed healing? Where are the 9? The 9 received their miracle. They received their miracle, their booty, whatever they were expecting, or they received and say, no, God, thank you, I am gone. But they realized that Jesus, or God for that matter, never forgets. We do say that when somebody do us some kindness or something, don't expect a miracle back. But Jesus reminds us in this verse that it is worth doing it for future blessing. What I mean is that when you go back to say thank you to somebody, if somebody gives you 10 cedis, $10, you might think it's too little or too big. Just turning around to say thank you What you are telling the person is that I appreciate what you gave me, and I'm even signing a ticket that in future when you give me more, I will come and thank you. This guy came back despite the fact that the 9 proceeded to go wherever or maybe they went to show themselves to their family. This guy said, before I even do that, before I continue rejoicing, let me show myself to this man who I don't know, but gave me this breakthrough. He came back with a sense of gratitude. His attitude told him, go and say thank, go and show gratitude to this man. And when he did, let's hear what Jesus told him. Jesus said, there were not found the other 9, save this one. Do you remember to give thanks when somebody does something? The 18th verse says what? There are not found that return to give glory to God, save the stranger. And he even calls me stranger. Of course, we know it's the Samaritan. So the people who have been despised in this life sometimes can be the people who show gratitude. Let me take a hypothetical example. If you are born in this country, because of the resources that are available, you can easily take things for granted. But you have somebody who has struggled their own life in some country, some underdeveloped country, they call them third country. And I know sometimes a former president called them a whole lot of names. If you have been in a situation where you have struggled before, where you have gone to bed without food, struggled, nothing to eat, when you come to a country where there is so much to eat and you don't even worry about your next meal, you open your fridge and there is everything you can get. Sometimes you can take things for granted. That is why I see the very laudable reason that this country should take a day to say thank you to God for the land, for the freedom that we enjoy. There's so much freedom in this country, freedom of worship, to the point that you can even say whatever you want to say. But sometimes your words can get into trouble. No matter how freedom you have, you got to be careful. Jesus was asking, there were 10 people that came to see me that I instructed to go see the priest to show themselves. How come you are the only one? You are the only one that came to say thank you. And I've been wondering, so what happened to the 9 people? Does it mean they were not healed? Yes, of course they were. But Jesus added something to the man that the 9 might not have received. And so verse 19 says, and he said unto him, arise. That is when the guy had knelt down to wash him, touch his feet, and glorified him. Jesus said, arise, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. Which means, like I said earlier on, the 9 were healed, but they were not completely whole. I don't know whether psychologically they were not healed or some aspect of their body, physical, I don't know. But this guy, because he came back to express his gratitude, Jesus said, arise, thy faith for coming back to thank me has made thee whole. So now from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, every part of your body has been healed. Isn't that awesome? That is what we get when we express gratitude. So I believe that when we march from tomorrow to Thursday, as we gather family and friends to celebrate, to chew and to drink and to do all that, let us remember that an attitude of gratitude will make us whole. No matter what we've been expecting, if we only express that attitude when you wake up in the morning, you might have had a bad sleep, whatever it is. God desires that we give him praise. We thank him for the breath of life, because you could have been choked that night. Anything could have happened. People go through stuff, but in having an attitude that expresses gratitude, tells God that you are willing to thank him for what he has given you, and that receiving more is not out of the question. That is what we're discussing tonight. Before we continue, all right, I don't have anything, but let me come in with this song real quick, and then we'll continue.
Orianiwa enyarewo isimeni yarewo adena wasuwa manisu okosunyede aden ururefiana se otumi manya eni ba adena wasuwa manisu okosunyede aden meba aden kra eya useni da sosa eni da sosa kra eni da sosa yo eni da sosa eya mensubi eni da sosa o bendia o adio se eni da sosa Eden krona mumbefra Onyenwe mo crown se Eden ebedi anaye benom Ana muni padua se Eden krona mumbefra Okransi na duane Nani padua nsintumana Aden mi ba aden kra Na ya usani da suasa Okransi na duane Nani padua nsintumana Aden mi ba, aden kra Eya usani da suasa Onche wiye munuma Se wono na wampam Tuwa uradi ma wodidi me Tuwa sidajum me radi Uradi Nani kumu impongwa Na uwa waba unsani sasuwa Na uma ubiri binye Adaina wasuwa mani suwa fosunyade Adain miba, adain kra Eya usani da suwa sa
say oje wo for money enyina tinani for how ne udaji enyina fatuna so no beyama if you say oje wo for money enyina tinaso pipa wani misoi jajinji no beyama if you say oje wo for money enyina
Eni da susa Nawa samcho da samina dia Nipata du yamma Eni da susa Nawa samcho dia Namika honga Eni da susa
Well, I love this song so much, I can play it all day. But tonight we are talking about an attitude of gratitude that makes us whole. And speaking about gratitude, I want to say thanks to my brother Sammy Aboy, who has studied wise. He wants to save lives. That those of you who have diabetes or high A1C levels, he is helping bring this disease down. And so he is a distributor of this herb tea. All you do is just put one sachet in hot water, drink it after your favorite meal or whatever, maybe 3 times a day. And it's been found from research. I've read volumes of what the research stated, that it's been able to bring the A1C and diabetes down. You don't have to die early or gone too soon. There is a solution for you. And so I just want you to listen to this clip real quick, and then we'll continue. Tonight we're talking about an attitude of gratitude that makes you whole. We are talking about wholeness. We are still broadcasting on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on Modern Ghana Radio. All right.
This is not your typical greeting. This Fumigio Herbal Tea by Glucose Care International is a nutritious drink and a natural blood glucose reducer. Gymnema plant, the active ingredient in the Fumigio Herbal Tea, suppresses the absorption of carbohydrate ingested from your diet. The green tea content in the Fumigio Herbal Tea promotes rejuvenation of dead cells, detoxification of your system, stimulates the pancreas to release insulin, and improves metabolism. Drinking 1 sachet of Fumigio Herbal Tea after meals prevents the rise in blood sugar levels, suppresses appetite, and improves bowel movement. Drinking Fumigio Herbal Tea regularly after meals can also prevent type 2 diabetes. We encourage you to drink Fumigio Herbal Tea 3 times in a day, coupled with mild exercises to maximize its benefits. Fumigio Herbal Tea has been approved by the FDA. Toxicity test conducted by SGS, so it is safe and non-toxic. A product of Singapore. With Fumigio Herbal Tea, your peace of mind is guaranteed. Call our shop now on 0245 810 623 and set your path to good health.
All right, we are still on Facebook and YouTube, also Modern Ghana Radio. I am broadcasting on my show, Divine Connection. This is where divinity meets humanity. And tonight we're speaking about the attitude of gratitude that brings us wholeness. If you are somebody who gives thanks, it makes more room for you than the person who murmurs. I know of a story about it's a Nigerian story where there were 2 people who were in a kind of intercession. One was telling God, I need this Rolls Royce, I need all that, and the other was praying and said, Lord, I thank you for the breath of life. Thank you for bringing me into a new day. I magnify you, Lord. I worship you. You are big, Lord. You are great. You are magnificent. You are omnipotent. You are omnipresent. You are omniscient. You are all the accolades that you can give God. And God told the angel, you see the one giving me the praises, go and give him whatever he wants. The guy hasn't even spoken to God what he wants. But God said, because he was praising me, because he was thanking me, that is the way God wants us to behave. All right, so we're talking about attitude of gratitude. Let's wind up. All right, so Jesus said, because you were the only one that came to give me thanks, what you didn't have earlier on, or what you lack, or whatever you think was not complete, I'm going to make it complete. And so he said, may your faith make you whole. That is the question I've been wondering. The 9 people, were they whole or they were just healed? From what we read, they were healed. Maybe the leprosy left them, but maybe there was something aspect of their body that the leprosy left, but maybe their feet was hurting or their ears were tingling. The Bible didn't say that, I'm just speculating. But this guy who came back, whatever was missing in his body, maybe he lost 1 foot or he lost 1 finger. Jesus said, because of your faith, you are made whole, complete. Whole means whole. From the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, everything was fixed. Everything about his body. I mean, everything. This is the type that, women would really love to have, because everything about him was whole and complete. It was like a brand new man. I can say it's like going to dealership and pulling a brand new car. Nobody has ridden, maybe like 5 miles. That's just for test driving. The guy was renewed. Everything about him was jeje. That is how God can make us. When we give thanks in the midst of this turkey eating, God makes us whole. So the whining and other stuff may be there, but let us remember that kindness, thanksgiving takes us far. All right, so let me round up. So in this week of Thanksgiving, we may remember all the benefits and kindness we have received from various people. We have to and be thankful. We have to remember all the kindness, the benefits, and be thankful. There are people who have been very good to me. When I lost my mom and my dad, they were there for me. Some of them I've not even met. I remember somebody, a man that worked with my dad at National Industrial Corporation in North Kaneshi area, Mr. Kisi. I don't know where he is. I wish I could get in contact. I don't even know whether he's still around or, he was my dad's buddy. I mean, like anytime they close from work, either they are on the same work bus or they are very close. And there are other people. I have a friend like Yaodan Kwayeshesha. we lived together in Fadama areas, would go and study in ATT, and I've lost contact. And many more people. People who have been, I cannot even mention their name, but these are people who helped me on the way. And they all deserve gratitude and appreciation. Sometimes you can't meet everybody on the way. But as a nation, as we give thanks to God as a nation, individually, we have to also remember that no matter what we go through, being able to give thanks to God, even for the little that you have in life, is what is going to catapult you into the future. I want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. And what I believe is that a nation that remembers God thrives. We are told that David brought some of his old clothes and possessions and hung them in his palace. Why? To remind him of where God took him. Don't forget where God took you from. For some of us, it was from a miry clay, and he put us on a solid ground. David was a shepherd boy. As one of the children, the lastborn of Jesse, he was just thrown into the wilderness. Why would the father even throw the lastborn into the wilderness? Did it mean he wasn't important? And I could tell David was one of the most handsome children that Jesse had. But he didn't mean much to him, so he sent him into the wilderness to go and take care of the sheep. And the other big boys were fighting for Saul. And when Goliath showed up, they all hid. David remembered that God had taken care of him. When he was in the wilderness, a bear will come, a lion will come, and this guy will fight those animals, make sure nobody messed up with his father's sheep. What reward did he get? Maybe he didn't get anything from the father. But he was being trained in the wilderness to later lead Israel. And so when David came into the palace, when he was later became the king, he said, I don't want to forget where I came from. Some of you, God elevates you and you forget where you came from. He did not forget where he came from. So he said, bring me some of my old clothes as a memorial, as a remembrance. When I look at them hanging in my palace, I say, you know what? This is where I used to be, and this is where I am now. And so it doesn't become pompous or popped up. You know that God took him from somewhere. That is why even when David had committed adultery with Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, God could have just struck David down. But he said, you know what? This is man after my own heart. And you wonder, God, this guy messed up. He arranged for somebody's husband to be killed, married a wife, had a son with him. The first one died, and later Solomon came to become the heir of the throne. God, how do you behave like that? And he said to us, you don't know what I see in David. This is a man after my own heart. This is somebody who has memory. This is somebody who took his clothes. He could have just dumped them somewhere. He said, you know what? Put them in the museum and let him always remember that, God, this is where you took me from. I will never forget. Never forget where God took me from. So in our dealings, as we march towards Thursday to enjoy the turkey, the chicken, whatever, it's good that we eat and rejoice, come together with the family. But let us not forget that it's supposed to be a day of thanksgiving. No matter what we go through, we have to give thanks to God. I want to thank my studio manager, Dr. Setutu, for making this platform possible, that we can come and exalt you. I want to thank my family, my friends, everyone that is close to me, wherever I have lived, the people that have made it possible for me. Of course, my parents are not here for me to thank them, but wherever they are, I'm sure they are looking down on me. So wherever you have experienced any breakthrough, do not, as little as it may be thankful. When you express gratitude for the little things in life, the big things come to you. All right, so I am running up at 7 o'clock, and Sunday, my Uncommon Security ladies couldn't make it. I want to remind them that Sunday they have to come back. And so make a date with the Uncommon Security ladies on Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. I don't know whether about the Thanksgiving, they might be traveling, but then maybe they will show up. But let me just remind you about their clip as we run up.
They are 4 women. They are beautiful with brains. They are eloquent, decent, wise, and experienced. You have heard many, the funny. Now, it's time to hear the experience and the brainy. Meet Selena, Dorcas, Gifty, and Annette as they present the real in common getting. In common biaye sesi chain, the dead, as in takrenu assume the dead, the real in common getting. Showing live this and every Sunday, 7 p.m. on Era One Radio on Facebook and on YouTube, Era One Radio and on Taibo channel. Kaise, So we tie the real in common getting ketia. What brabon tete? We nyan konkonsa. We the real in common getting kitty.
Of course, as I said earlier on, Era One is a 24/7 radio station. We vibe on music, we educate, we teach, we do everything. Tomorrow being Wednesday, our brother Kobe with his Yensom program, where he comes with highlights from all over the world. He teams up with Dr. Nesopokwa Juma and Dr. Setutu. And they have a very exciting program. They update us sometimes when I want to listen to what is going on in Ghana. I just, tune in and I have all the information. But in case you've not listened to them, let me give you a snippet of what the show is all about. Well, and no more can so man be a year if you wouldn't me. You can't sit aloof. Nanado said, don't be what? Don't be a spectator. Be a citizen, participate. Because you can't pay the day. In participate, maybe be and so fine. Well, Friday too, we have the Count Your Blessing program. Our brother ECM comes to exhort us, lift us up, and has a whole annual program that you want to enjoy and on Era One. Saturday morning from 6 through 9, our brother Dr. Ostus also comes with his program. And let me give you a clip of his program in case you are missing it. So make a date with Dr. Ostus every Saturday from 6 to 9. And then the clip I played earlier on Yensum, I sense Uncle Ato's voice. He's a musician in Ghana. And I think I read somewhere that he lost his wife. If it is not true, forgive me. But I think I read something that he lost his wife. So Uncle Ato, if you are listening to us, we wish you condolence and every encouragement that you can have. We just pray that God will comfort you and strengthen you. Well, on behalf of Era One Radio, it's been your host, Charles Boison, and I wish you a blessed week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving on Thursday. And remember that it's a moment of Thanksgiving, not just turkey. And also, some of the highlights for those of you Ghanaians who like soccer, of course, Ghana plays Portugal on that day. So it's going to be butu-butu. Be praying for them so that at least they can find where their feet is to put the ball in the net. All right, until I come your way again, have a blessed evening. Go back to YouTube or Facebook and listen to our programs every now and then. Subscribe and share with your friends. So thank you and have a good evening. All right, bye-bye.
Our minia, Oboni, Mensubi, Yamensubi, and Mobia, what you can see. As a very saying a mean, no deal with chinty, or anyone, and you're a busy man, I was so man is so for soon a day. I think